This podcast is brought to you by Sharon Sisinya-Multi in association with Open Window. This podcast will contain a few graphic information that might be sensitive for certain listeners. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Overcoming Adversity podcast. And I hope you will find this segment inspiring, motivating, and have you pushing to overcoming some of your adversities and challenges you face on a day-to-day basis. So today we are going to be talking to Thabo Nhlapo about some of the challenges and struggles he faced during and after drug addiction and having to assimilate back into society after coming back from rehabilitation. Hello everyone, my name is Thabo Nhlapo. I am 23 years old. I live in Thokoza, Extension 2. It is a township in Alberton. It's all the way in the East Rand. And I'm just here to sort of talk about my life, my challenges. And thank you so much for having me. It's so amazing to be on a podcast. I've never been on a podcast before. So I'm like extremely excited. So I actually want to start from the beginning, from the very, very beginning, that it all started when I received a scholarship to go study musical theatre at one of the most prestigious schools in the world. If anyone out there has ever heard of Juilliard, I get a shocking, sort of astonished reaction every time I mention Juilliard. So Juilliard is one of the most prestigious schools for drama, music, dance, visual art. And I got a scholarship to go study musical theatre. So musical theatre would be dance, drama, and music. So I was doing 3 majors, and there was so much that I learned there. I felt like I was in my element. You know, I had independence. There was a bit of poise, a bit of class there. So I had to find an alternative school after 2.5 years to sort of, just so I could complete my qualification. And Texas State University in Texas, in San Antonio. So returning back to South Africa was different, you know? There was a difference in me and in the people that I used to interact with. There are certain things that I did not find as funny as I did before I left. And then I joined the entertainment industry in South Africa, which was absolutely like it was the pits compared to America. One culture shock. So entertainment industry in South Africa, I was well underway. I was booked and busy. I was teaching on the one side. I was in a theater show on the other side. I was doing a TV series on the one side. I was also, oh my Lord, I was doing corporate gigs. I was absolutely busy, and I was happy at the fact that I was busy. People don't know this, but I got too busy. And when I mean by too busy, I was putting in 21 hours of work a day. I was putting in more than I could actually give. And at certain times, I would fall asleep during work and whatnot. So there was one colleague of mine when I was still doing Aladdin Jr. at the Joburg Theatre, and I used to play Jafar, who said to me, yo, listen, I might have the solution to your problem. And what he meant by, I've got a solution to your problem, unfortunately for me, I didn't realize was an addiction problem that became a problem for me. So we went out to a party, and then an unfamiliar substance, chemical substance, gets brought to me. He just said that it was a temporary solution until I find a permanent solution to how I can stay up and still keep so busy. That's when I took my first line of cocaine. Guys, it was amazing. I felt like I was on top of the world. I felt like I was on cloud 57. Give it 15 minutes to kick in. Jeez. I actually felt the party that we were at was my party. It was absolutely lovely. And to my surprise, I stayed up the whole night. I was not tired whatsoever. You know, the next morning, we didn't sleep. We were continuing with snuffing cocaine. And then I realized that, I've hit the jackpot. I've hit the jackpot to a solution for my problems. And I continued to do good work in the industry. I was crunching numbers, and my work was good. I was awake, I was alert, I was alive. And as you go on, especially with the drugs, life passes you by. You get to stop having friends. You stop keeping contact with your family. You start deteriorating. It was really, really tough. The money ran out. Me and my ex-boyfriend were going through some problems financially. I started not attending my shows in theater. I started canceling. You start lying. You start becoming a compulsive liar. And you lie about even the smallest things. You lie about going to the toilet. So I forgot that I was able without the drug. I took my mindset and I said to myself, now I need the drug. So I've forgotten about how I used to do it before without it. And now I put all my dependence, all my love, all my trust in this drug. And the moment of truth hit where we broke up and I moved back home with my parents. And I remember the one time my mom actually asked me, Tabo, are you on drugs? And I snapped because that's what we addicts do. We protect our drug with everything in us just so nobody can know that we're dabbling. And I was like, why the hell would I be on drugs? Whereas I just came from a country where drugs are everything. And she was like, oh, okay. No, I see you. So I went to rehab for about 3.5 months. Before going to rehab, I remember the actual eye opener was me getting arrested and my mom being sick and tired of always saving me from my crap. And I remember I called her from the police station and she was like, I'm not bailing you out. Somehow, some way, you need to learn your lesson. And I was like, damn. And I went to the Johannesburg Correctional Facility. I was awaiting trial. I was just waiting for someone to come pay my bail so I could leave. And I remember no one came for 2 whole weeks. And at that stage, I'm not trying to show any signs of my sexuality because I am a proud gay man. I'm not trying to show any signs of my education. I'm speaking Tsotsitaal one way. I'm trying to adapt. I'm trying to, you know. And this guy says to me, you talk funny. I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, you don't talk like other guys talk. Like, okay, I'm and whatever and whatnot. But I didn't realize that he was actually talking to some of his friends in the cell that, yo, I think this guy might be, I think they'd sussed me out way before I even was even acting because sometimes you just can't keep your fabulousness hidden. Sometimes it just wants to shine. And I remember there was a time where we were called the new ones in the cell and they called all the new ones to the toilet. Little did I know that it was the day where my worst pain would come into motion. And that was the day where I realized that I needed to turn my life around. There were 4 of us and there were 8 of them. And they decided that we were going to strip down naked and everything. I got so scared that before they even started molesting me, I heard a scream from the other side of the toilet that they were molesting this guy and he was screaming. And they took rounds in molesting us. And it was the most traumatic experience in the world. After being molested, we were bleeding because we were being beaten, we were bleeding. I just sat at the toilet until I waited for one of the prison warders to open up. And he saw me, blood and all and everything. And then they decided to move me to the single cells. And then I had to go back to court. Thank goodness my mom was there. And she could recognize that there was a difference in me. She paid the bail. I came back home. And the first thing I asked her was to please book a rehab facility because I was now paying for my sins that I had done during active addiction. And got to the rehab, completed my program, and now I'm a year clean. My biggest regret. One thing I did realize though is I do not regret doing drugs. I don't regret doing drugs because drugs were amazing. I loved drugs. But I do regret the person I became when I did drugs. And unfortunately, I am not that person when I'm sober. But when I am on drugs, I become a different person. The pain of what happened does not leave me. I think about it each and every day. I think about how things might have been different. I think about those boys that were raped with me. I think about everything that has transpired over the last couple of years. And I look back and I'm like, I've come a long way. I've overcome adversity in leaps and bounds. And I just hope that I keep strong. And I've never actually spoken about my story to anyone else, but I just thought, you know what? If it reaches someone that it could inspire as to turning your life around, it's never too early, never too late. I met a lady who is also part of the industry and opened up a business in the hood. And she wants to empower children from the township. And she was like, you know what, let's join forces. And we did. And right now we've got a business whereby we've opened up a casting agency. So as much as I've taken a break from the industry for a year to sort of regain strength before going back, because there's one thing that I've realized is I will never leave the entertainment industry because it's something I'm so wildly passionate about. So we're giving children from the township who have no idea as to how to get into the professional industry and how to showcase their talents on a broader spectrum. And that is one thing that I'm also educating them on, is to be absolutely and utterly careful of people who are promising them the world, people who are promising them solution to their problems, for them to take things one step at a time, to not rush. They're not in a race. When something comes, it'll come. And when it's your time, it is your time. And I promise you, the industry will embrace you with open arms. You just need to be hardworking, you just need to be talented, and you just need to have humanity and be able to work with people. And I'm grateful each and every single day for a second chance. I don't want to blab on about other things, but I really, really hope that if there's anything you can take away from this, is to keep holding on and is to keep pushing. There might not be a light at the end of the tunnel, but keep going. I promise it'll come. Thank you so much for listening to my story, and I hope you take something out of it. Until next time, until the next story unfolds. Thank you for listening to the Overcoming Adversity podcast. I hope you find it meaningful and inspiring. Please remember, it is never too early or too late to turn your life around and find your pursuit of passion and happiness.